Welcome back, and it's all about legal matters, law logs it is, and we have our guest already in studio. He's not a stranger. He is making a comeback on set again just to share his wisdom, his knowledge about our topic of discussion this morning. And without much ado, allow me to welcome Advocate Perry so that he takes us through today's topic, and we are talking about consumer protection. And this is one thing that is pertinent to you and also to me, and so I expect us that by the end of the session we will be enlightened and we will know when and where to go in as far as our complaints are concerned. So Advocate Perry, good morning.
Good morning.
It's good to have you back.
Thank you. It's a pleasure
Yeah,
to be back.
karibu sana. So who is Advocate Perry?
Yeah, Perry is an advocate of the High Court of Kenya, practicing under the style of Agimba and Associates. We deal with all aspects of the law, both civil, criminal, and specifically commercial. Yes.
All right.
All right. And the conversation of the day today is on consumer protection. And we had alluded even before we began the interview that there is a lot of lack of awareness when it comes to people knowing their rights as far as consumer protection rights are concerned. So maybe you can start us off to understand, what are consumer rights?
Thank you very much. So, remember just before we started the show, I told you that consumer protection is a key thing in Kenya, and the crafters of the constitution that was promulgated in 2010 thought that it was wise to envisage the specifics of consumer protection in Kenya. And as a result of that, that is when the Competition Act was enacted, and the Competition Act thereafter formed the Competition Authority. So it is that body, the regulatory body, that is in charge of ensuring that there is compliance and oversight in as far as consumer protection is concerned. Yeah, so basically what I can advise our viewers is that consumer protection is a key thing in Kenya. There are rights which are enforceable, and it is just good, as you've rightly alluded, for us to continue spreading the awareness so that we all know our rights as a consumer of both goods and services. What is expected of the vendors or the manufacturers of goods, both Kenya and internationally, and what sort of standards are supposed to be met.
All right.
And in the event that you have a complaint, you have to be aware as to where you're going to raise the complaint and shop for the right firm. And it's something that we'll be touching on as we continue with our conversation. But what are some of the basic rights of consumers? You know, those basic that cuts across. Exactly. So the basic rights for consumers are very, very straightforward. Number one, right to have goods that are of the right quantity, of the right quality, so that they have to be measurable. And then they are supposed, the goods, as a consumer, you should be aware that the goods and services that you're procuring have to be of a certain level. And that is why, just as a follow-up of the competition authority, it will the crafters still thought that it was wise for us to have KEBS. That is why you see KEBS comes in to make sure that all the goods that are consumable have to be tested, and they have to pass a certain level of test for them to be certified as fit for human consumption.
All right. Following up on that one, in terms of the pricing, let's talk of the pricing, because I've had some people complain about this price. So is there like a standard? And if you have a complaint in terms of the pricing of various commodities or even services, is there a recourse?
Exactly. So when we talk of price, we We have to look at it from two perspectives.
Okay.
Number one, pricing is determined by the market forces, as you know, but at the same time, the Competition Authority has created the regulations that say that the pricing themselves they need not be punitive. So that if, for example, we remember last year, when the price of edible oils suddenly shot up by almost double, it was something that raised a lot of eyebrows for all the consumers of such edible oils. And after thorough investigations, it was identified that the issue is not only does not affect Kenya, it is a global issue. So the Competition Authority was not averse to the prices being fixed the way they were. But be that as it may, when we talk about pricing, we have to think of something that is a principle that is called a dominant effect, dominant effect in market control.
Okay.
So that, for example, if you're the biggest supplier of edible oil, you cannot use your dominant authority to suppress your competitors or your competitors' advantage, comparative advantage in the market. So that pricing is something that is closely monitored, and those are some of the offenses that the Competition Authority has classified as illegal. So that if you're a dominant player in a market, you have to ensure that your prices are not fixed at a place where you want to disadvantage your rivals.
Yes. And I think that reminds me of an issue that was with Carrefour some time back. I think it was even, gazetted that, they were facing some penalties because of that. And I even saw them write, they say that if you go anywhere else and you find that a certain product is cheaper than it is here, we'll give you a refund 10 times. So we have such things definitely happening. But even as you have touched on competition, I'd love us to veer a bit towards the direction of healthy competition, because I see some time back there were these two, I wouldn't mention them because we can't advertise, but then we had two I don't know how to call them, like hizi kuna line moja, kuna line ya hii, kuna line ya hii nyingine. They're called telecommunications. You find that one of them will try to paint the other in the wrong picture. Like, these people they're eating your bundles, they're eating your airtime, and then now they would use the form of dressing and their brand colors. So you find that the one who is accusing the other person, it's like this waiter is wearing a certain color, going to serve food, but then biting it before giving. And we had billboards everywhere. I mean, where does where is the line drawn in such situation, and especially when we have all these competitions happening? At what point does one not go beyond when it comes to competition?
Exactly, and that's a very good example that you gave, and that is why the Competition Authority decided to step in and give clear guidelines as to what and what you cannot do, because it was clear that from the advertisement, this person was the person A. You can see clearly was making an allusion to person B, in as much as there was no branding, there was no what. So as advertisers and as business people in still in our community, they always have to be cognizant to the provisions of the Competition Act, as we've said, that governs or gives directions as to what is considered as healthy competition and what is considered as unhealthy competition. And if you look at it, had the Competition Authority not intervened earlier enough, it would have been, say, a problem, because you see that is how it starts. If you let it go, you say that today, we can say this goes, the following day, who knows what will be the next advertisement. So when it comes to healthy competition, they are clear guidelines as to what and what you cannot do, and so that even our consumers can clearly, our viewers can understand, is that even as you compete, if you have a dominant position the way one of the competitors has in the telecommunication industry, you cannot clearly undercut, so to speak, for lack of a better word. You cannot price your goods and your services to such a low level that you want to edge out competition. Because competition is healthy. And it is the competition that is making us enjoy good services, goods and services. So having a healthy competition is good. But having monopoly, that is the worst thing that can ever happen. So we should always endeavor to ensure that we, both for the manufacturers and suppliers of goods, they should always ensure that there is that healthy competition, so that the consumers can be properly protected in as far as the consumption is concerned. Because, as you've said, what is making these service providers and goods providers give us the best is the competition. Because if we don't give us good goods and services, then automatically I'm going to go to my to your competitor.
This may be vast, but if you can highlight for us some of the consumer disputes, common consumer disputes that we have in Kenya, so that at least we can be able to compare.
So that is diverse, as you rightly put it. So that, for example, if you go to a supermarket, there are so many instances where people have gone, say, to supermarkets where they've purchased goods, and for whatever reason, the money did not reflect. That is, I'm giving you a practical example of one of the disputes that we know of. So money did not reflect in the till number. It was actually one of the supermarkets that is now out of business. So eventually, when the money reflected after a while, the gentleman was told that he cannot live with the goods because reconciliation had to be done in the head office. You can imagine. So what did this consumer do? The consumer was well enlightened and decided to go to the competition authority and lodged a complaint. And believe it or not, the complaint was resolved. The penalty was issued, so he was reimbursed the money. And then he was, on top of that, he was awarded some damages for inconvenience. And I think that was a lesson even for the supermarket. They knew that how you treat your consumer really matters. And you know that if you do something that is not in line with our rules and regulations, then the penalty lies on you. Us, we are just consumers of goods and services. Even for the internet service providers, you pay. For example, the way we are here, we are consumers of the internet. So that a lady had subscribed for a monthly bundle, and for whatever reason, for almost a week or so, she didn't enjoy the services. She did not enjoy the services. So what did she do? She went to the competition authority, lodged a complaint, and she was sorted out. She was awarded damages. Because she could show the trail of inconvenience that she had suffered. And if we continue doing that as consumers, then we are going to create, that is one of the ways we are going to spread awareness. Because it is lack of that awareness that is making us suffer in silence.
And maybe I would love to know, because most of the time when we talk about anything that people need to be aware of, the big question is why, and that now determines, will this person make that decision to be more aware? So maybe you can talk about why is it important for us, because it's everybody. This is not something that involves a particular set of people. We're always going to buy things, and we're always going to require these services. So why is it important for us to learn this consumer protection rights? And while you're at it, maybe you can talk about the importance of reading things like terms and conditions. Because we just say this. You don't even bother
looking at the terms and conditions. So the basic reason why all the consumers in Kenya need to be aware of these rules and regulations is because it is for their own good, for lack of a better word. Because it is not a favor that when you go to a shop, you're not being given the goods for free. You're paying for the services, and you've really worked hard for that money. So it is always good. For your own good as a consumer, you have to ensure that being aware of your rights as a consumer will help you avert any issues that may befall upon you in the future. So that, for example, if you go to a shop and buy a good that has expired, and for whatever reason you've consumed that good and you've suffered catastrophic loss health-wise, so the question will be, who is going to be liable? So if you're not aware of that, you will just decide and say, oh, maybe that was nature. It was God's will. But hey, no, it wasn't God's will. It was you. You're supposed to be aware as you go to purchase your goods. Make sure that they are properly. That is why if you look at all the goods that we buy, they always have to have a batch number and clearly display their date of manufacture and when they're supposed to expire, so that if you're aware of your rights, then automatically you will know the next course of action immediately. Because still on that topic, as we know, we have seen the Competition Authority and KEBS, they have really stepped in and awarded a lot of damages to so many people who are aware of their rights in as far as consumption of maybe expired goods or contraband goods is concerned. And then number two, for the consumers, what they need to know, and I think this is something that I talked about previously, is when you go to purchase your goods, your goods specifically, you have to ensure that you go to a reputable, you always say, go to a reputable vendor. A reputable vendor can be your next door neighbor, your kiosk in your estate. Ensure that the goods that have been purchased from that place have a paper trail. Because more often than not, if you decide to cut corners, the way we normally call them in the industry, the Kariobangi light industry, where you can literally get anything. You can get soap, you can get what, you can get what. So if you go to those, unfortunately, there are places which are not certified, and you purchase goods there, and then unfortunately something happens, the question will be, who is
the resort?
Who is going to be liable in case of any damage?
All right. We need to take a short break, and then we will be coming back so that we get to know about the procedure of lodging complaints, and also the importance of picking the right body when you are making and lodging these complaints. This is Law Logs, happening right here where you look and live. We are back after this short break.
Hope TV is where you look and live, with an excellent selection of the best Christian programming consisting of local and international content of inspirational stories, talk shows, Bible commentary, youth, health shows, children entertainment, contemporary gospel music, extended times of worship, live broadcast, news, movies, drama, Christian ministry programs, and so much more. Hope TV is another quality service from Christ is the Answer Ministries with over 45% of authentic and credible.
Arise each morning to a moment of worship. And powerful nuggets from God's Word.
If there is one big thing that is needed in our time, is the ability to hear God's voice and apply His word.
We can put our faith on Christ, just like this centurion, and believe, Lord, let your word turn this situation.
God does not definitely tell you, I am coming in 6 months. I am coming 1 year.
On Hope Devotion every Monday to Friday from 6:30 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. only on Hope TV. Look and live.
Hope TV is where you look and live, with an excellent selection of the best Christian programming consisting of local and international content, of inspirational stories, talk shows, Bible commentary, youth, health shows, children entertainment, contemporary gospel music, extended times of worship, live broadcast, news, movies, drama, Christian ministry programs, and so much more. Hope TV is another quality service from Christ is the Answer Ministries with over 45% of authentic and credible.
Hello there, praise the name of the Lord. My name is Evelyn Wanjuro. To get Naiwe Maombi as your skiza tune, SMS skiza 8830022 to 811. Hope Skiza, spreading the hope.
All right, welcome back. We are having such a wonderful conversation here in studio, getting to understand our consumer rights and why it's also important. Now, there's a question, Yuna. Oh, she said not to say, but Yuna, imetoka tu yenyewe, you know. But anyway, Yuna had talked about going to hospital and getting a wrong diagnosis. So, how do you handle that? Does that also fall under consumer rights?
Yeah. Yes, still that is, it falls under the consumer rights, and choosing the right forum for lodging a complaint is critical.
Yeah.
Because when the competition authority came into force, that was just a global body that was tasked with the mandate of overseeing the whole industry.
Yeah.
But now when it boils down to specific industries, you have to be aware as to where you want to lodge your complaints.
Yeah.
So for example, if you get a wrong diagnosis, there is a body that oversees the conduct and practice of doctors.
Okay.
And that is where you have to lodge your complaint first.
Yeah.
So that you start with that body, the competition authority can be kept in copy.
Yeah.
Just for reference purposes and oversight. But the right body will be to go to the Kenya Medical and Dentist Practitioners Board.
Yeah.
That those are the people who are going to assist you, conduct an investigation, and issue determinations that they deem fit.
All right.
But still that falls under consumer protection. Yes.
All right. Let's talk about the procedure of lodging those complaints. So how do we go about it? Because at times the reason why someone feels I won't go this route is because they feel it's tedious, it's too long, it's too much. Yeah. So how do I start this procedure, the process?
Exactly. So lodging a complaint is one of the easiest things that you can do as a consumer. And all you need to do is either you have two ways to go about it. You can check out the competition authority, the website. They have a dedicated email address where a form can be downloaded from their website, a complaint form, and the form is filled and then sent to them electronically, or in the alternative, you can choose to take yourself at their offices. You get a form, fill the form, leave it there, and investigations will be done. So it's very, very, very simple. You just it's just a question of knowing what forms to fill. Yeah. And they're very direct. And it is those are one of the cases that normally get closure on priority basis, because it doesn't have a lot of technicalities and procedures. So it's very easy and straightforward for a consumer to do that. So don't sit back at home, and it's free. There are no charges for it. So once you go fill the forms, the competition authority will get back to you with an investigator, and more directions will be issued as the investigation continues. So don't sit back and think that maybe you need money or you need a lot of technical information and know-how. So it's very easy. It can even be done in Swahili. Yes.
And does it take time?
No, depending on the issue. If it's consumable, maybe it's a good that is pretty straightforward. You bought a good. These are the damages that you suffered as a result. It's something that can take anywhere from a month to 3 months to at most 6 months. Yeah. Yes. So you just have to constantly be checking up with them, making sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do, and you will get closure, because I have been involved in a couple of cases where we got closure. Yes.
And maybe now to look at it from the angle of many people maybe are watching and feeling that I think I need to know about these rights. So maybe what can be done so that there'll be more awareness when it comes to consumer rights?
Yeah, definitely. I think it is a conversation that has to be ongoing. What you're doing is actually good because we are spreading awareness. So I think the competition authority needs to dedicate more of its resources towards spreading awareness, because from our interaction with common mwananchi, it is clear that a lot of people may not be aware of their rights as consumers, where to go in case of any complaint. And a majority of them do not even know the competition authority exists. Or if they know it exists, they think that it is just there to govern these big transactions, mergers and acquisitions. You want to oversee the big supermarkets, and no. The competition authority was created because of me and you, the common man. So we need to continue spreading this conversation. We talk more about it. We continue we spread awareness until a time that all the consumers will appreciate the importance of their rights. Yes. And they are very basic. These are very, very basic rights. You can imagine. In the Constitution, it only provides weights and measure, making sure that your goods are fit for consumption, properly packaged, and you're good to go.
There was a fire that was at a residential place the other day, and sadly people lost lives and property was destroyed. Does occupational hazards fall under consumer protection?
Not really. There is a thin line because in Kenya we are lucky to have a lot of regulatory bodies that deal with such issues.
Okay.
And when it comes to such occupational hazards, it is NEMA, the body, that has been tasked ensuring that the occupational hazards of all the industries and companies are kept in as far as the best international practices allow, and all for the safety and sake of ensuring that the lives of both the consumers and the manufacturers are protected. So NEMA is one of the bodies. It's just like it's just like KEBS, but they deal with as a consumer. There is a specific area that they are concerned with, and that is occupational hazards and ensuring that maybe the goods that are being supplied, maybe the dangerous goods like the LPG, petroleum, the standards are high. Yes.
And maybe when we talk about hiking of prices, does this also fall under the consumer protection, and even looking at sometimes the fuel prices, sometimes they really shoot up and go up. So how can maybe consumers be prepared for such things? For such eventualities, that's good. And that is why Kenya, as I said, we have so many bodies that are tasked with that. And for our, say for example, the petroleum sector, the body that is tasked with that responsibility has to be guided by certain principles. And a majority of the principles that govern the body are controlled by external market forces. That is why you see at times people complain that, yes, we can see today fuel, the prices are high. Something that consumers need to constantly appreciate. That is why you see for us, before prices are issued, a review has to be done, and the review has to take into consideration the current market forces, so to speak.
Advocate Perry, thank you very much. Always looking forward to having these conversations because you break it down so well in should I say layman's language, so that we don't use those jargons.
Biteable portions.
Exactly. So we are able to understand and comprehend everything that you share with us, and we don't take it for granted. We really, really appreciate your time and sacrifice always coming on set to share with us. So thank you so very much. In regards to Clive,
I will.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And do you by any chance have any closing remarks that you can say, like just a final word?
Yes. I think my parting shot would be that as consumers of goods and services, let us continue spreading the word. That is always my philosophy. Do not be afraid. Talk about issues if you have been aggrieved. Whatever reason, after purchasing a good and service, know that there is a recourse and you are protected. And one of the highest documents in the Republic of Kenya, that being the Constitution, has offered you that protection. And I think it is one of the avenues that have been made very, very cheap by dint of the Competition Authority. So don't be afraid. Always complain, talk it out. There is always a solution. Yes, there is always a solution. Yes.
That's good.
Thank you so very much. You had it. There's always a solution to whatever complaints that you could be having. So don't be afraid. Go through the process again. He explained to us that the process is not as tedious or as long as we usually think are afraid of. So don't hesitate to do the same, even as you are lodging those complaints. Thank you so much, Advocate.
That's good. That's really good. I've definitely gotten to learn a lot. And it's also free. If you want to, you know, forward that complaint, it's very much free. Don't just, you know, sema tu ilikuwa ni mpango ya Mungu nipate. No. Don't agree to that. And I think maybe, especially if you have tried to communicate and the person did nothing, then it is advisable that you go forward and you do it. And I think this is something that I've learned because one time, as I was telling you, Gigi, I bought a wig. It was not what I ordered. It was terrible. And the person just blocked me. So I think if I was aware of this information, I would have taken it to the next level, you know, and definitely followed up. But thank you so much, Advocate Perry, for just opening our eyes to just how much we need to be aware of our consumer rights. Asante sana.
Karibu.
Yeah.
Right. That has been Low Logs right here at Hopper Dome. This is where you look and live. God willing, we'll be doing this again, same time, same place tomorrow. Being a Tuesday, it's one day
At a time.
From me, John Kishuru, it's bye-bye for now.
Yes, and my name is Beatrice Watare. See you tomorrow.